Hello, Sean. How you doing?
Hello, Luke. Very well. Thanks for having me on today.
I'm still touching this headset. I need to stop doing it. It's like an extension of my hair. It's insane. Um, so we've only met. We had a conversation about a minute ago now, but we only met about ten minutes ago. So hello properly. How you doing? And you've got a really interesting story, but I say that about everybody who has started a business. I kind of come from the mindset of first of all, I should say, Sean, it's obviously from obvs skincare, and I'm sure going to talk a lot about that. The purpose of this pod in particular is number one, I'm obsessed with talking to people who have started a business because I think it's one of the single bravest things you can do. Talk about it's not just being out of a comfort zone; it's actually being pushed off the edge of a cliff. And I look back on 10 years ago when I decided to do it, and I think, what was I thinking? Oh, is there a chemical imbalance there? Am I a little bit mental? Because I just gave up what at the time a great job, and I just think, oh, I'm just going to do it by myself. The levels of naivety in me were insane. Um, and touch on that, and also then just touch about how how you came up with the product that you've got. Perhaps talk about some of maybe your future plans, how you're growing your business, some of the challenges you've experienced being a business owner as well. So, if I can go right back to the beginning with your skincare product, what was the catalyst for starting it and starting this big scary journey?
Wow, a few years ago, Luke, I was doing IVF with my husband, and I'm a bit of a hippie, you see. So I like to be as vegan as I can. I like to recycle. I like to hug trees. And so when I was going through IVF, I was trying to be as healthy as I could be. But the mix of hormones gave me terrible adult acne. I felt like a teenager again. And all of the skincare I was using, I was looking at the ingredients and thinking, that sounds scary. Do I really want to put that on my skin? If I can't eat it, then do I want it on my skin? Um, no, and then also I was being greenwashed. So I was buying organic skincare online. And did you know that you can legally say something's organic even with like 1% organic ingredients, unless it's
I
got
did
the
not
soy
know that.
logo on it? Yeah, so I was being greenwashed, and my acne was so bad, Luke, that the doctors prescribed me tablets that said one of the side effects said could cause infertility whilst I was doing IVF. So I thought,
Yeah,
I'm not going to take them. And, the acne, it was so painful mentally and physically, really affected my confidence. And then unfortunately, I miscarried twice with the 2 rounds of IVF. And then I really needed a distraction. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I try and make my own skincare just in my kitchen as a hobby? You know, take matters into my own hands. So I got to work and I brought a load of organic ingredients, made a lot of mess in the kitchen. And after a lot of failures, I came up with the Intensive Skin Recovery Cream, which cleared up my acne within a week. At the
wow.
time, oh, I know, all right. So at the time, my friend had a baby, which was really difficult for me. Obviously, I just had lost my babies. But she said, Sean, I'm really sorry to bother you, but my baby Jack, he's got a really sore bum and nothing is clearing it. I've seen how well your cream, which I called Sean's Magic Healing Cream at the time, works on your skin. Can I just put it on his bum and see what happens? I was like, wow, it hasn't been tested by a lab or anything yet, but
Yeah.
I know that it's all natural, it's all organic, vegan. What can go wrong? Anyway, she put it on, and the next day, she said, I cannot believe it, Sean. It is cleared up. Even the stuff the doctor's prescribing him wasn't working. She's like, you need to sell this. And then the word caught on, Luke, and everyone wanted to try it. And I thought, oh God, this is costing me a lot of money. As you can
Yeah.
imagine, like organic ingredients aren't cheap.
Hmm.
So I thought it was one of those 2 a.m. ideas, And I thought, well, I need it to be organic. I need it to be biodegradable, so plastic free. I need it to be vegan, and I need it to be sustainable. OBS. And that's how the name came about. OBS, that's what it stands for. And then I got the trademark, I got the domain names, got the website up together, and then I left it about a year. And one of my regrets is waiting so long because I could have helped so many people in that year. But I was working in IT recruitment at the time,
Yeah.
and lockdown had just started at this point. So everything was up in the air. And then I was finally convinced to launch this as a business, sold out overnight, was featured in Vogue magazine, which was insane. I thought that was a scam. So
Yeah.
the first email they sent me, Luke, I deleted it. Like, yeah, whatever. And anyway, then they emailed me again, and I looked on the footer and I called the number, and it was all legit. But like I say, I didn't believe it until I saw it in the magazine. That really propelled me, and people started taking me seriously as a brand, and I started taking myself seriously as well. I thought, actually, this could go somewhere. And then my husband could see how successful it was becoming. He built me the lab in the garden, what I'm in now. So I'm no longer in the kitchen. He was fed up with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a couple of years ago I launched, and
Well,
it's been insane since.
I so when you talk about the initial batch, I have this friend's image, in Monica made all the jam, and was just like that. So, what did you have any kind of chemical biology experience to go? Okay, in batch number 1, I'm going to put X. And what were your first set of ingredients that you went in there with?
Oh, well, the first set of ingredients actually are the base of what the intensive skin recovery is. So
Right.
I did so much research beforehand before I went into this to really think, right, if I'm going to invest my third round of IVF savings into this, basically choose this or try for another baby, I thought I need to get this right. And I'm also dyslexic. So that kind of put a little bit of a barrier up. I was thinking, can I really do this? And I thought, bugger it. You don't know until you know. So I looked on the back of basically Sudocrem.
Right.
Because I
Okay. Yep.
wanted to do a natural alternative to Sudocrem. Because I didn't like to use it when I was pregnant and going through IVF because of the paraffin in it and the other chemicals I won't get into. I'm not in the business of slating other people off, but I wanted to find a natural alternative. And I saw that they use zinc oxide. I thought, oh, what's that about? So I ordered some, just like, I think it was like 500 grams. And I had some shea butter knocking about. At the time, I had coconut oil. Don't use that on your skin now because it clogs up your pores. But yeah, so it was literally just putting them all together. And I truly feel that my dyslexia played a really good part in this because I was able to look at the ingredients that other people were using and think outside. It's so cliche, but I really did think outside the box. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. At the time, like I say, it was just a hobby. I never thought about giving up my corporate career for this.
Yeah.
I thought, let's just put it in, see what happens. And then after, okay, no, maybe let's just try a little bit more of this. No, that ingredient doesn't work. Let's try this. And then this came together. And I thought, okay, on paper, it looks good. It feels nice. It smells natural. Ticks all my boxes.
Yeah.
Let's see how we get on with this. So yeah, I truly feel it's my own recipe as well. So it's not copied anyone's,
And did you have to? And you tested it on yourself? Was it a case of, okay, first batch that didn't work, second batch that's kind of getting there, or was it a refinement process, or was it like first one, I've nailed it?
Absolutely not. I made so many failures. Wow. So it was either too greasy or it was too hard or it was because it's all oil based, you see. So it's not water based. That means that I don't need to use these chemical preservatives. And also being oil based, it means that it lasts a lot longer. So you get more for your money, basically, and better for your skin. But yeah, no, to answer your question, I reckon I tested the intensive skin recovery cream over 100 times on myself until I got it to what I was happy with. Then my friend used it. I still wasn't quite happy with the texture.
Yeah.
Changed it, and then I sent it out I literally just put on my Facebook to my friends and family. Does anyone want to try my new healing cream? And everyone wanted to try it. So I've got photos of like all these different, and I even hand delivered most of them. It took me days to deliver them all. I gave them like a questionnaire to fill out, and then I took back their feedback and I made a couple of tweaks. And then that's when I got to the final one, and that's what I launched with. And then like the moisturizers and the cleansers and the soaps, they've sort of grown from that. But really, our hero product is is
Yeah.
the intensity recovery cream.
So when you've got to the stage where people are using it, friends and family mostly, at what point do you go, okay, do you know what, let's get a website together and let's see if there's a market for this? Or were you always, before the website was built, I'm pretty confident there is a market for this?
I think as soon as I saw it, the before and afters of my friends sending me things,
Yeah.
that gave me the confidence to think, yeah, this works. It's not just a fluke. It's not just my hormones or something like that. But what really was the thing is, and I get quite emotional talking about it, is a friend of a friend. So they have no loyalties to me. They weren't just being nice. They sent me a before and picture of this her little boy's hands, and they were just always bleeding with eczema, and he couldn't go to school. And she had just had a newborn, and she's like, Sian, your cream now means that my son can go to school and I can spend time with my newborn. You've changed our lives. And I was like,
Yeah. Wow.
oh, okay. That's when I sort of realised, Luke, that I lost my babies to help other people's babies. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
it just makes it all feel right. And this is going to sound super cheesy, but I believe there's 2 days the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you realise why you were born. And now I realise my purpose is to help as many children and adults with their skin concerns. And it just sort of makes everything better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a wonderful story. How that's come about. I guess for me, there's always the scary bit when, and obviously, I do something completely different to you. You're having such an impact on people's lives, like you just said. So it's, crazy, and I haven't found my purpose in life yet, I don't think. But I do wonder, at what point did you decide, okay, this is now my thing? And probably, can you take it back to the point where, okay, sales were doing well enough to think, hey, I can quit my corporate job? Was there a moment, or was it like I can face this out?
Yeah. There was another, yeah. So a year after I launched OBS, unfortunately, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. So
Right.
I'd just been featured in Vogue magazine. Everything was on an upwards trajectory. I was employing my first apprentice. And then I got a letter through from the NHS to say you're due your smear tests. And I always go without fail. Never had a bad one in my life. Didn't think anything of it. Went to the doctors. They said, oh, no, Sian, you're here 6 months too early. You sent this in error. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I've built myself up now. I'm here now. Can you just get on
Yeah.
with it?
Yeah.
I've taken the day off work. And so they did. And then a week later, I got a call saying you need to come to hospital right away. We found something. I was like, whoa. And this was just before Christmas. Went into hospital on Christmas Eve. They diagnosed me with cervical cancer. And also COVID on the same day. So I had Christmas with cancer and COVID. But
Oh, wow.
they were brilliant. They cut out the cancer, and touch wood, I am cancer free, and I'm very lucky. So it just goes to show, if anyone's watching and you're due your smear test, book it now. Don't delay it, because the doctor said if that admin error wouldn't have happened, the cancer I had was quite aggressive. It would have spread within that 6 months if I'd waited, and I would have had to have more, I would have had to have chemo and stuff like that. So just goes to show, don't delay it. But anyway,
Wow.
to answer your question, as soon as I got the all clear, I thought, right, life is too short. Give up the corporate job, do this full time, because this makes me happy. This gives me life. This is just everything, like I say, it's like my baby.
Yeah.
So that was the turning point, and have that tragedy, that horrible, hearing the C word for anyone. I was so fortunate. Obviously, not everyone is as fortunate as I was, but that really was a catalyst for me to give up my corporate job and do this full
Yeah.
time.
So you went all in, as they say,
All
which
in.
is sometimes
All
the best
in.
way to be. Do you
Mhm.
did you have a moment? And I'll obviously we do something completely different, but I remember when I started my business I sent my first invoice and had my first invoice paid, it was a bit like, wow, okay. And bearing in mind, I'd been running an agency for quite a number of years before that, and it didn't have the same effect as something landing in your bank account for something you'd done. Did you? Was it a moment maybe when you'd launched the website and you got your first few orders in? And what was that like at that early period when you launched? Did everything fly off the shelf, metaphorically?
Yeah. So when I launched, I just expected my friends and family to, to support. I thought I might make 10 or 20 sales on the first day. I made a big hype about it, even had a launch party. And I thought, it'd be nice to just get a few sales. And at the time, it was like my side hustle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it completely sold out. And it was seeing the customers come up on the Shopify thinking, who's that? I don't know who that is. Wales, people were ordering in Wales and Scotland.
Yeah.
I don't know any Scottish people. How do they know about me? I haven't paid for ads or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just word of mouth, and that's when I thought, oh, okay, this could be an actual business.
Yeah. And how about branding, actually product branding? How did you take that on? Because we do a lot of that here, and it's a bit of a process, and sometimes some people can overcomplicate it, I think, anyway, and that's where lots of money gets lost. How did you go about that and creating the brand?
Well, I'm a bit of a tomboy as well, so I'm not into my pink fluffy stuff. And I do make a point of saying I'm not a beauty brand. A lot of people say, when are you going to do like makeup or something like that? No, I just want to help people with problem skin, whether you're male, female, non-binary, whatever.
Yeah.
If you've got bad skin, I want to help you. But so my brand, I wanted to keep it very black and white with a little bit of green to show that we are sustainable. We plant a tree with every order. You won't believe, Luke, that this is not plastic. So listen to this. Sounds like plastic.
Yeah.
It looks like plastic, but it's not. It's made out of wood pulp, and it biodegrades like a piece of wood. Yeah. So at the start of our conversation, I said biodegradable of obs. So I wanted to be plastic free, which was a huge challenge, to be fair, especially for small business. I was bootstrapping. I had no money for this, just literally what we saved up for the IVF third round, which went into this lab. So I was using tins, just aluminium tins, which did a great job at the time. I also, and this is one of my regrets, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking, but I had these like cardboard tubes, right? And I thought, right, if I line that with cork and a special like natural wax, that could hold my skincare and not have to use tins or plastic. And I did that and I launched with that, and everyone was like, well, this is different. And then I realized there is a reason why no one else is doing this. Because one, it took me ages to make them myself. And two, they just disintegrated after a few months. And I was like, I just had to send out everyone that's had disintegrated like the tins instead. Everyone, no one complains, they're all so nice about it. But it's one of those where I was so focused on being plastic free, I thought, yeah, this is great. No. But then I came onto these.
And how did you come across that? How did you come across that material?
Well, after a lot of research, I found these guys, but they're in Norway at the moment. And their minimum order quantity was huge, and it was just me. I was like, I can't get any more money from anywhere, So I thought, let's reinvest. Let's wait for a year, see how OBS gets on. I reinvested all the profits from OBS, and I managed to get a loan to get the minimum order quantity of these. And this what really sets us apart, because I think they look pretty smart as well.
Yeah,
and they do the job. Yeah. And just to think, you can either recycle these or just put them in your normal bin like you would a stick. Do you know what I mean? It's made out of wood, and there's no microplastics behind. And like
there's a tagline somewhere in there.
Yeah. And we are actually the first brand who are Soil Association certified and Vegan Society certified to use this. So they love that about us.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, that we really truly take, even though it eats into my profit heavily. And I ain't going to be a multimillionaire for a while because it's expensive. I could easily, go with a cheap plastic, but that's not my ethics. I'll be going against, I'll be selling my soul. So
Yeah.
yeah, so these I just love them.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. And is everything in that lab behind you? Do you still produce everything from there?
Yeah, I've got my two mixers, my two handy mixers.
Yeah.
Make everything myself, but it's getting to the point now where I need help. I've just taken on Charlotte as my digital marketing apprentice. She started 3 months ago, so she's starting to take over with the email marketing and the social media. But I might need to speak to you guys for some help with that as well. So I realised that I can't wear all of the hats. So
Yeah.
I've had to
Is that one of the biggest? Is that one of the biggest lessons you've had to learn as a business owner?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it started with the accounts, like the accountant, and obviously being like dyslexic as well, the numbers were going everywhere. And I was naive to think, it'll be fine. It's just a few adding up, I'll just keep a few receipts. Oh no.
Excel spreadsheet, there'll be no problem.
And if anyone knows me, they know I hate spreadsheets. So that was my first learning curve, was right, I need to hire a professional, an accountant, to do this. And then it came to, friends and family are great. They help me labeling and things like that. But it's getting to the point where I need more help. And it's just deciding, right, what am I good at? Formulating. And I'm launching a new product this month, which is top secret. But yes, it's very exciting. We're having a big launch party for it. So I'm good at formulating and formulating effective skincare. I'm not so good at social media. I'm not so good at accounts. So I'm thinking, right, I need to hire people to do that. Yeah, that's the biggest learning curve. You can't do it all yourself.
Yeah, but I think it's the I think it's a trait of an entrepreneur or business owner to kind of what you start. Obviously, it was just me when I started, so I was accounts, the cleaner. I was, I did everything. And like I said to you before we came on this call, I said the biggest shock of my life was when I found out what corporation tax was, by getting a bill and going, oh right, let's put some aside for that. So yeah, it's being able to you naturally want to hold on to everything, and actually delegating is like, it's the easy word, and everybody says, oh, you should be delegating, but it's a lot easier said than done. And I'm fortunate enough, and we're a relatively small team here. I was going to ask you kind of we've got myself and Lauren who kind of manage all the accounts. Now our wider team is about 20 when you take into account the graphic designers and things like that we have, digital web builders and things. But with your team, what are your expansion plans? And do you think you can stay in the lab that size, or is it going to get bigger?
Well, talking of team, it is almost like finding a bunch of really good babysitters. They need to know the routine. They need to know what time it goes for a nap. That kind of thing. So that was really tricky for me to trust people with my baby. But the expansion plans are: keep the lab just for me to come in and mess around and formulate, make new stuff on my own, put my headphones on, listen to a bit of Michael Jackson, well, you know what I mean? Like, do the stuff I enjoy. But I am planning on expanding into a warehouse. We are launching in America next month, so I've got some really good PR.
Wow.
Yeah. I cannot say no to. So it's all going on. So it'll be getting the warehouse. I need to have a warehouse manager, and everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the actual formulation, that's going to be really hard for me to hand that over, because I've got NDAs coming out of every orifice. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone knowing my secret formulation. So that's going to be the hardest thing for me to hand that over to someone, but I know I'm going to have to one day. It's like the 5 secret herbs and spices. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. So as far as your how you're selling at the moment, am I correct in saying everything's online, and you initially started with Shopify? That was correct. I think you said that earlier on. Are you still using Shopify, or are you using anything else?
Yeah, we are on Shopify. We're in a few independent shops, but the biggest thing is we are on superdrug.com. Not in store, because obviously we had the conversation. Again, I thought that was a scam. So the Soil Association said to me, Superdrug have heard about your story and they want to talk to you. I was like, really?
Mm.
And luckily, I didn't take it seriously. I would have been super nervous. But
Yeah,
until
yeah.
she came up on the Zoom call, I was like, "Oh, it says buyer. Okay." So I explained to them, we can't be in store. That I haven't got the facilities yet. We're still so young, and I was overwhelmed, to be honest with you. They said, "Okay, we'll put you on our marketplace." And I went live on the marketplace at 11 a.m. on Christmas Eve, exactly a year later after I was
Yeah.
diagnosed with cancer at 11 a.m. on Christmas Eve. It was
Wow.
insane to think in that 12 months that I'd gone from the lowest point, thinking I'm going to die. I mean, it's ridiculous looking back now, to now being on Superdrug. It's like, what is going on? So yeah, we're in Superdrug, and also there's a few other sort of wholesalers that sell us on their websites.
Have you got any kind of ethical feelings towards other retailers, as far as their ethics and how they fit in with you? Do you vet them beforehand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you with the Superdrug thing. My idea, I've always really wanted to be in like Planet Organic or Holland and Barrett. I don't want to be on it, especially on the shelves in store.
Yeah.
I don't want to be next to a brand that I don't agree with who tests on animals or something like that. Like China, they keep emailing me and calling me asking, can we buy your products to sell in China? No, you can't until you change your laws. Because did you know to legally sell skincare in China, it has to be tested on animals still?
I no
2023.
idea that was still the
Yeah.
case. Wow.
So I've literally told them to do one. But to answer your question, I've got to say, with Superdrug and someone else that has approached me who I have said no to, I was a little bit dubious because I thought it's going against some of my ethics. I don't tick all the boxes. But to be fair to them, they are trying their best to be as more sustainable, more eco-friendly, and by incorporating brands like mine, sort of tick a box.
Yeah.
But where it's that visibility, and it's like if more people hear about me, more
Yeah.
people will, one, hopefully be inspired by my story, hopefully remember to go and get a smear test, hopefully
Yeah.
they get themselves out of a hole and turn a negative experience into a positive. But the main thing is sort their skin out. If their baby's struggling with like bad eczema or nappy rash, just try my cream, because I offer free samples as well.
All right.
So
Okay.
it's all about, right, I want to get into as many wholesale retailers as possible to get my name out there so people know about me. Do you know?
Yeah, no, I completely get it. From a
Mm.
marketing perspective, what is there anything that you can point to that is really working for you? I know you said you've got a digital graduate there, also placement. Is that particularly where you're driving a lot of your interest? Do you spend a lot of time looking at the analytics of, like, Shopify has some great analytics at the back end, doesn't it? We can tell you where your orders are coming from. Where are your orders primarily being driven from a marketing perspective?
Well, do you know what? Social media, I mean, we don't have a huge following at the moment, but we do. It's definitely quantity over quality. We have a great relationship with most of our followers. And I think they love that we're just authentic, we don't use filters and we're just ourselves. And people obviously love my story on
Yeah,
socials. They connect with that. People buy people, don't they? So they like
absolutely. Yep.
connect with my story, relate to it. So a lot of it is through social media. And so on Shopify, the back end, it shows me the conversions. And it is about 60% Facebook, about 20% Instagram. TikTok scares the hell out of me. Charlotte is trying to convince me to be on TikTok. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the main thing. It's and the word of mouth as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're finding more and more TikTok, especially the interview I did before your one here was with my sister, who is on
Yeah.
TikTok and is an influencer.
It's so
And
much
but
fun.
she's got but sitting down and having a chat with her about how she's leveraged TikTok was actually really fascinating.
Yeah.
From somebody who's started from 0 followers to, however many she's got now, 77,000 or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is a bit scary. We have to be on all these platforms, but we tend to judge them on merit and whether our clients can monetize any of it. Monetize, easy for me to say.
Easy for you.
Which is, you know, the geeky part that I like, actually. So I'm a bit sad like that. But so I suppose, have you found it difficult or a challenge to be 'cause kind of, you are your brand, aren't you? And literally the face of your brand. Do you enjoy that part, or do you find it challenging?
I find it therapy, to be honest with you, Luke, to talk about
Yeah.
my story. I don't like to bang on and make it look like I'm an X Factor sob story, because that's the last thing I want is anyone
Oh,
look
with the
like.
Coldplay music in the background.
Oh no,
Nice.
Coldplay can do one as well.
Yeah.
We don't want any of that. It's more about the uplifting, the positivity. Look, this really bad thing happened, but do you know what? If you've got the right mindset, you can turn it into something magical. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, yeah, I do love now being on social media and telling my story. And luckily, I haven't had any trolls yet. Maybe the one or two. But you
Yeah.
just got to block and move on, sort of thing. And it's just getting your head
Life's too
around
short.
that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And I'm thinking, the more I put out, the more people will see it, and the more people I can help.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, unfollow.
Exactly. It's a very easy thing to do. You know, people. It's the old Ricky Gervais joke where he says, you know, oh, people who are insulted by stuff on Twitter, but I've put it out to millions of people. Well, I wasn't talking directly to you. Just stop following. And I kind of befuddles me, that thought process. Just I've got two final things to ask you.
Okay.
Then I'll let you go. One, you touched on your dyslexia, and
Mhm.
also before we started recording, you mentioned it kind of being your superpower, and during the call, you mentioned how, you know, when you're putting together the formula for everything, it really worked for you. Um, uh, I'm taking you're seeing your dyslexia as a positive in this in your journey of life. Is that right?
That's correct. I never used to, though. It was only because of obs skincare.
Yeah.
So I was actually diagnosed whilst doing a master's in psychology at university.
Wow.
My tutor said, "Well, this is great for someone who's dyslexic." I was like, "What are you talking about? I'm not dyslexic. I've had good grades." Like, no, I'm surprised you haven't been diagnosed before, and it all makes sense. Now, at the time, I had a scholarship to go to Wales to do a PhD. I really wanted to help people psychologically.
Yeah.
As soon as the diagnosis come through, because I had like educational psychologists and all this, barrier went up, Luke. I thought no one who is dyslexic can do a PhD. So I rubbished that off, and I was a nursery nurse for years.
Right.
And I don't regret it now, but I always thought there is a limit to what I can do. I'm dyslexic. There's some things I can't do. So let's just get married, try and have kids. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. That's my
Mm-hmm.
life. But then when I had this sort of calling, if you like, for OBS, I thought, right, okay, actually, because of my dyslexia, I am able to think differently. I've got almost got an excuse. So if I do mess something up, I'll say, oh, I'm dyslexic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Like the copyright, if you like, and the descriptions that I used to do all myself. Looking back now, oh my God, this is before ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before even the spell checkers were like, what on earth are you talking about, Sean? So yeah, that does come with challenges. I can't say, it's easy being dyslexic. It is difficult, but it just makes you a lot more resilient for sure. And like I say, it's just you're thinking differently, and the creativity as well. Like
Yeah.
Canva Pro is like my best friend because I can spend hours, and it's because I can think of something different. And I think, well, no one else has done that. Most people will think, yeah, there's a reason why. I think, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Different. So I definitely see it as a superpower, no doubt, in entrepreneurship. Not if I was
Ideal.
doing a PhD in psychology.
That's a good point. My last question
Mhm.
is, what is your favorite Michael Jackson song?
Oh, come on. You can't ask me that. That's like asking me.
Right, John, give me a top three.
All right. Okay. All right. Keep the Faith, Dangerous album.
Okay,
That's a
yeah.
good one if you need a little bit of a go on. Dirty Diana,
Oh, yes, tune. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
obvious reasons. And
I,
Speechless. Oh,
no, I was going to say, do you say Speechless?
Speechless from the Invincible album. Yes, it's just beautiful, beautiful lyrics.
Oh, right, okay.
You
Yeah,
were expecting Thriller, Bad, and Billie Jean, weren't you?
nobody who's a die-hard fan, which I'd been given the nod that you were, would have chosen the more commercial ones. So don't
Yeah.
worry. I was expecting something different.
How about you?
Dirty Diana is one of my favourite ones, but I like. I'm a bit different from other people. You see, I quite like listening to live versions of songs.
Oh,
Everybody in my
yeah.
family goes, "No, I don't." I was like, "No, I like to go on Spotify and I'll go. No, I want to hear the live version. There's a Wembley version as well, which I believe may have been the time when he met Diana as well, Princess of Wales." So
Yes, this is the bad 1987 tour. I know exactly what you mean. Can
yeah,
I
so
guess
it's
what song you're going to say? Can I guess?
yeah. Go on, yeah, hit me.
The live one. Is it Another Part of Me?
No, it's not
That's my
that one.
favourite
Right.
one. Anyway, all right, sorry, you carry on.
No, and do you know, I'm going to go back and say something from the Jackson 5 Years. I'm going to say Ben. It's one of my favorite
Yeah,
songs, and mainly because I remember because I was born in 1982, so I'm fully Michael Jackson years right in this, and I remember watching a documentary when I was like 5 or 6, and it was obviously not him playing the role, but the whole thing about this mouse thing, and that's, you know, things for your childhood, they become your nostalgia as well,
yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
And I'd probably say I'm going to go commercial and say Smooth Criminal. Be my next one.
No, no, good choice, good choice. Do you know, I was just saying to
It's the
Charlotte
video.
this
It's the video, isn't
morning.
it?
Yeah, no, good choice. I was just saying to Charlotte this morning, my dyslexia, when I was a kid, I thought Michael Jackson was singing Librarian Girl. So I wanted to be a librarian because I thought Michael Jackson loved librarians. So for years, I just said, I'm going to be a librarian when I'm older. Little did I, and it's only recently I found out, oh, it's Liberian Girl. Right,
Yeah.
sorry, I got that
I'm,
wrong.
I'm not going to lie to you. I had exactly the same thing in my head. I had no idea. I thought it was Librarian Girl as well. You came and you changed my world. Isn't that
Yeah, no,
weird?
Liberian,
Uh,
I know.
Uh, well, on that note, thank you so much for sharing your story. I could probably talk to you for hours, but I think it's really inspirational on many, many fronts, and really interesting as well. And I wish you nothing but future success. And of course, when you've conquered America in a few years' time, perhaps you'd be kind enough to come back on. You probably have, you know, LA backdrop and this kind of quasi kind of American accent as well. 'Cause you've been there for so long. And this wicked tan. But it'd be great to follow the journey. And like I said, we wish you nothing but success. So thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate it.
You are more than welcome. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Yeah.